All right, so let's start on this one. Now, let me just quickly run through with you some things that I found, and I want you to also make reference to this. I can send you the document, but you can also find it on the internet. Can you see my screen? If you can, you give me a thumbs up. Okay, it's important that everybody can see this. Good, good. Okay, thank you. Now, so this is worksheet 10. So that means this is our lesson 10. All right. We are doing this topic on food chain and food web. And then people who have been in this class, they know that this is not the first lesson on food chain and food web, right? Yeah. So, okay, hold on, my slides are not moving. Okay, now this is actually a document from MOE. I don't think you have seen this before. Anyone have seen this before? This is one page of the document. Now,
I've shown this before.
Yeah, you have seen this before. Good, good. Okay, this is actually what you are supposed to learn and what you are supposed to know for your science topics. And this particular one that we are looking at, right? Okay, is interaction within the environment. It says this is for P5, P6 standard level, standard science. So what are you supposed to know? How many of you have done this topic in school? I need to know this because then I will know how to adjust. Not yet. Nobody has done this topic in school. I see. Only Tommy. Tommy has done it. Did you watch the video in the portal? Okay, some of you did. Some of you didn't. Is it because you don't have access to the videos? Ahira? You don't have access to the video, is it?
Yeah, I don't think I have.
Right. You might want to subscribe to it. Okay. I'm not like promoting, but I'm telling you what they have. Okay, 88 Tuition has this e-learning platform. There is a teacher who actually teaches the lessons. Yeah. So they actually recorded all these lessons, okay, for P5 and P6 is all in the portal. You can view it anytime you want. You can view it repeatedly, okay? So if you subscribe to that, you can watch it. But that is just watching the video and attempting the questions there. Tutorials are important because I am here to guide you with your answer, especially in booklet B, okay? MCQ also important because I'll explain to you. You don't get enough explanation yet just by watching the video because the questions are always evolving. You have noticed the PSLE questions are never the same. Every year there's something interesting coming out. I know who are the people who set PSLE questions. I've spoken with them. Okay, and they have told us, how students are making mistakes, etc. And I know that this year's exam, they have already set this paper like 2 years ago. Yeah, so the questions are set 2 years ago. Only if they need to modify, then they will adjust here and there. Okay, but your paper is already set. They know what they want to test you on. Okay, so every year, the concepts tested are the same. It's just that the questions are phrased differently and they lift it from what is happening in daily life. So every time you have to start thinking. Okay, I see somebody saying, oh, still doing energy in school. Okay, no problem. All right. So I cannot reteach the previous few lessons, but today we can just go into the food chain and food web, and I'm going to tell you what to take note of. Can? Yeah. So let's say if you decided to continue from today onwards, it'll be good. Okay, so there is actually follow-up. There's a consistent, moving on with the topic, and then you get to learn more. Okay, we complete fast also mean that we can do a lot of revision. I'm sure you need revision for the P3, P4, P5, P6 topics. I mean, yeah, I saw you looking at the watch. Yes, I know. Okay, I'm explaining to you because students need to understand exactly what this is like. Okay, next lesson, I'll not be talking about all these again, okay? Because a lot of you are new students today, I have to tell you what will happen during the lesson. And usually after the whole completion, right, you can check with the earlier students, we play a game of Kahoot if there is time. We play a game of Kahoot actually to test your science understanding. My Kahoot games is not like the normal kind of game. Okay, it's to test whether you understood the lesson. So if there's time today, we play. But if there's no time, we postpone it. Right? Can? Okay, I come back to this. Very important for you to know Okay, these are the expected. I can send you a copy of this document later, okay, at the end of class or the next lesson. All right, and from now on, I'll be preparing notes for you. After today's lesson, there'll be a summary notes for this topic. I'll send it to students who turn up the next lesson. Okay, this is to encourage you to keep turning up. Yeah, and then I'll also highlight certain things, in PSLE, they're going to ask you, or, in PSLE, you're not supposed to use these words to answer questions. Whenever there is, I'll put it in. If there isn't, then we have to wait for future lessons. Okay, now, so we are learning about this part here. Okay, so today's lesson is still on this part. We have already covered this particular one. Okay, we also talk about, okay, we briefly talk about this also. Yeah, when there's no food, when there is more predators, what happens? Okay, and animals can die. We also define organism, population, community as well. We learn about the habitats. So this part here is more practice, okay, for this lesson, and you will understand why later. Let's go on. Okay, key concepts you need to know for this particular section. Energy from the sun is transferred to organism. It always starts with the sun. So our main source of energy is always the sun. All right. So how is energy obtained and used by organism? We will discuss later. Okay. And then you have to know producer. Okay. The term producer might be very foreign to many of you. Okay. Producer actually talks about plants.
Who gives the food?
Yes, correct. Producers actually make food. That's right. And we only talk about plants. Okay. The producers that you always see inside the food chain or the food web refers to plants only. Right? Then that's the role of the producer. Consumer does not produce its own food. It will get food either directly or indirectly from food producer. Why directly? Why indirectly? Because of their position in the food chain. Yeah, whether they are secondary consumer, whether they are plant eaters. Okay, if they are not, then they consume food differently. Don't worry, as we go through along, you will learn more about this. Okay, there are different types of consumer. Earlier, you heard me talking about secondary consumer. We have primary consumer, secondary consumer, tertiary consumers. You will see in the food chain later. I will always be relating to terms like this. Predators hunt and feed on other animals. Prey is actually being hunted and eaten by other animals. So you must know what are the roles of predators and prey. Common question I like to ask students will be, do you think predators are important? Do you think there should be predators around us? Okay, sometimes we think that it shouldn't be, I might be eaten by, the very fierce animal. I'll be in danger, right? But in fact, the truth is predators and prey are important to keep a balance, okay, in our ecology system. You need to know that they are always there and they must be there. Should we remove any predator because we don't like it, we think that it's dangerous, we will upset the whole system, right? Yeah. So there'll be too many of the prey around. Then what do we do? Okay, it's going to create more imbalance here and there because the prey also eats something else. Yes, Tommy.
Anyway, we are also predators in a way.
Yeah, we are. Okay, we are predators, of course. Of course, we don't exactly go and hunt down the food nowadays, right? But we still have, places providing the food for us. There are hunters out there who hunt for food, for sure. Okay, next, food chain. Okay, important thing you need to know about food chain is actually it shows food relationship. Between the organism and, most important thing, energy. Okay, it tells you how energy is transferred from one organism to another. You must know how to construct food chains. You must also know how to construct food web. So what is food web? Food web is actually made up of many food chains combined together. Tommy, don't annotate, can? Tommy, today no annotation, okay, until I say yes. Is it okay? We have many students here, right? Thank you, Tommy. So food web is actually made out of food chain. They're interconnected or linked together. Don't worry about copying all the notes down. Remember, I'll be giving you the notes in the next lesson. Okay, most importantly, you listen first, unless you want to take down certain points, short points. Okay, listen first. I think it's more important you understand, listen and understand. Notes will be provided. Okay. So the next one, the effect on the rest of the food chain when there's a change in population size. Like I mentioned earlier, if I remove the predator, what's going to happen? Okay, if I remove the predator, then some organisms will not
There's going to be a lot
be eaten, right? There'll be too many of them. Yes, correct. Yeah, Yashika, you're right. Okay, then there will always be the imbalance there if you keep removing and removing. Take note here, populations of all producers and consumers in the food chain or food web are always kept in balance. So let's say, even though I explained to you, we don't intentionally remove predators or prey from certain food chain or food web, but you know that certain disease may cause the existence, right, of certain organism. That can happen. So when that happens, don't worry, the food chain or the food web can find the balance again. It might take time, but eventually it will. For example, long ago, we have dinosaurs around, correct? Dinosaurs no longer exist. The world still go on living, isn't it? It's just a new balance that they have to come up with. Yeah, so that's how it works. Okay, take note of decomposers. Decomposers breaks down dead matter. Dead matter are the dead organisms. So we are talking about organisms that die, okay, or even their waste, animal waste. So decomposers break these things down to convert them into mineral salts, water, and carbon dioxide. And these mineral salts are like fertilizers for the plants. So when decomposers break down these dead organism or waste materials, okay, these fertilizers are added to the soil, okay, and then they help plants to produce food better. Okay, so decomposers are important. What are decomposers? Anybody has any idea? Okay. Yashika, give me one example.
worms.
You can have worms like earthworms, okay, millipedes, etc. Tommy?
Mushrooms.
Mushrooms, okay. Is there any more you can think of? Ahira?
Fungi.
Fungi. Okay, fungi and mushrooms are actually the same. They are actually the same category. Yeah. So I can put like this. There's one other thing starts with a B.
Bacteria.
Bacteria. Good. Okay, so these are our decomposers. Of course, there are many more, but you just need to know a few. And the very common ones, okay, I saw Amia typing in as well. Thank you. So the common ones are these. So you just need to know and maybe mention a few of them. If they ask you, okay, name one decomposer, you have to understand that you just pick one of this is enough. Okay, first question here. Plants are important to other organisms because we know that plants are important to us because they are food producers, right?
Yeah.
Okay, remember about photosynthesis? Yeah, they make food. So plants in the food chain are known as producers. This term is specially made for them, producers. They also replenish oxygen in the air. They are not the decomposers, for sure. Do they produce carbon dioxide at night? Yes, they do. But is this important to us?
No.
No, this is not the helpful thing. Okay, the main thing that they do and they are important in these ways are they are food producer and they replenish oxygen in the air. So answer is B. Any question here? Quite straightforward. Yes, Tommy? Tommy, any questions?
I thought we have